Hello, there, my Maple Leaf fans. Well, tonight's the final season game for the Maple Leafs till October of next year. I'm going to take you now to the team media availability before their game against the Ottawa Senators.
The last game of the season.
Yeah, I wish this situation was different for us. Obviously, it's not something that you want. You want to be going to the playoffs, obviously. So it feels like to be honest. But we still need to show up and play hard for the fans and stuff.
I'm sure you saw it, but after Columbus's last game last night, reporters was pretty emotional, talking about how important it is to hate to lose, kind of thing. Like, from your perspective, how important is that you have to hate to lose this league?
I mean, the league is so good. It's such like it's so tight now that like if you don't have that hunger, like you said, like hating to lose, like it's really hard to make it into playoffs and to win the Stanley Cup. So I don't think he was wrong in his words.
Do you feel that around here? Like that's something that still needs to improve a little bit around this team? Or?
I think it's every team has that. I don't think like if the team that has it the most probably is going to win. That's how I see it. The team that wants it the most is probably going to win.
Joe Bowen's final call tonight. What's it been like being around him the last couple of years?
No, it's been special. Obviously, I grew up and you hear his voice all the time. So I'm sure it was a really, really special moment for him. Like the last couple months, leading up to this moment. And he was such a big part of this organization. So I have a lot of respect for him.
What's this game mean to you, Luke?
Super exciting hometown game. Whole family will be there. Grew up watching lots of Sens Leafs games, so it'll be super fun to play in one.
How many friends, family do you think will be there?
So my whole family, and then I probably got around 10 friends. I'm kind of leaving it to my mom to figure out so I can just focus on the game, but and then my brothers have got a bunch of people coming, so probably 20 to 30 I would guess, but not totally sure on a number.
What was the Battle of Ontario like for you growing up?
Yeah, super cool growing up. Obviously, it's one of the biggest games of the year for both teams, or some of the biggest games. So super cool to play in, and growing up watching these, it was always a huge rivalry. So to play in one's going to be super cool.
Do you have a favorite memory of a Leafs Sens game growing up?
Oh, that's a good question. Not off the top of my head, but I think I've been to a bunch of them here in Ottawa, and all of them were just so fun. The crowd gets into it, and there's lots of fans for both teams, so it'll be super fun.
Were any friends annoyed that you switched sides in Battle of Ontario?
No, they're just happy I'm here and playing my best game. So they're super excited for me, and it'll be super cool playing that tonight.
How do you feel it's gone for you since you've been called up?
It's been good. I think there's some things I want to build on. Obviously, some nerves in the first few games, but it's super fun playing in front of that home crowd. The Leafs fans are unbelievable, and we're going to look to win a lot more games next year. And for myself, I think just building my game in the summer to where I can come in and be more of a force. But I think I've been solid for the first 3 games, and I'm going to look to build on that tonight.
With Ottawa in the playoffs, what do you think the city? How do you think the city's going to feel over the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, I'm sure they're pumped. Obviously, they've had a really good year. They got a good squad, so good for them, and it'll be fun to play against a playoff squad tonight.
It's being around you.
It's been special. They don't. He's the best guy. Obviously full of energy, full of life. And, you can hear that passion when he's calling games. So it's definitely going to be a big part of this organization. It's going to be missed going forward.
You have a favorite call of his growing up?
No, I don't have one in particular, but just listening to him call games is it's a treat. It's a pleasure, really. The way he brings it to life again. You didn't have to be in front of a TV to be able to understand what was going on in the game, and he called it with so much passion and emotion that it just made it that much more, electric. Even if you're just sitting in the car listening to him. So, yeah.
Luke Kane's playing in his hometown tonight. What sort of impression has he made on you?
Yeah, good for him. That's pretty cool. So early in his career to be able to play in front of some friends and family. Yeah, he's such a smart young player. It's good to see these kids coming up from the minors that have developed their game and adjusting to the pro level, and for him to be able to come up, take a step up to the big leagues and be able to fit in seamlessly, and he's been in the right spots all over the ice. He's not cheating for offense, or he doesn't look like he's behind. He's kind of fit in, really great. So it's been easy to play with him, and he's willing to learn too. He's had some questions where you just kind of give him a little bit of guidance, and he picks it up in stride. So it's good to see a young kid like that.
Obviously, it's been a tough stretch down the stretch here for you guys. What's it feel like now, the morning of the last game of the season?
It's tough. Again, looking forward to playoffs. There's no better feeling than playoff hockey, and doing it in Toronto especially. Have the memories of last year playing against this team, skating out into the home ice for game one was something I'll never forget. So it's disappointing, obviously, how things have gone, and to not be able to get that opportunity to do that again this year. So it sucks right now, but we got to deal with that, and then hopefully next season we're able to make another push back into the playoffs.
After Columbus's last game last night, Rick Bowness got pretty emotional talking about how important it is to hate to lose in this league. How would you sum it up? How important is that?
Yeah, he's bang on. He's a passionate guy, and I know guys who have played for him that absolutely love him. And when you see that passion, that much emotion out of a coach, it makes you want to run through a wall for a guy like that. It makes you really want to play hard and not take shifts off. And it's a crappy feeling, especially when you're kind of in a spot or you're fighting for a spot like them, and you're coming down the stretch and you don't perform your best hockey. It's disappointing, and that's why sometimes when you go look in the mirror in the summertime after a stretch like that, you're really kind of kicking yourself because there's things that you kind of regret. There's some what ifs, and it makes for a stronger team going forward. And I think there's a lot of guys in that locker room. There's a few of them that I know personally that are going to be disappointed, but the kind of guys that I know that are in that room, they're going to regroup and be able to come out strong next year, and kind of with a little bit of chip on their shoulder.
Be a similar feel maybe for guys in this room?
Absolutely.
Down the stretch here, just like what's it feel like now morning of the last game?
No, it's obviously we want to keep playing, obviously, and we want to make the best out of tonight, and that's what we're focusing on, and then worry about the rest later.
Not sure if you saw, but Rick Bowness got pretty emotional after Columbus's last game last night, talking about how important it is to hate to lose in this league. I'm wondering how you'd sum that up, how important it is to have that hate for losing.
No, I think we all do in here, to be honest with you, but obviously it's been a tough year. But obviously some positives at the same time. I think the guys that have been coming up lately have been playing really well for us, and it's good to see, and obviously good for them to get a chance to kind of get that feeling for the best league in the world.
You mentioned some positives of the young guys. What stood out to you about Luke Haynes?
No, I think obviously a good skater, works really hard, and he's very smart out there. So, but like I said, I think I liked all of their games. It takes time, and it's easy to do it for a couple games, but when you have to do it over and over again, that's kind of what's sticking out. But I think I like their game, like I said, and it's fun to see they get a chance here and get a feel for it.
Joe Bowen's final call tonight, like what's been like kind of getting to know him, spend time around him?
Yeah, no, it's been cool to kind of follow him around this year and obviously learn a little bit more about him and just to have him around. Obviously, meant a lot for this organization and calling a lot of games. So it's pretty cool to see him after the last home game there to kind of get emotional and kind of see how much the games meant to him. So.
Lots to dissect in the days to come, but I guess what's the message to your group tonight on the final game?
Play the right way. Compete, play hard, respect the game, respect each other. That's it. Go play the game properly.
Lineup changes for tonight?
Pizzetto will go in because Yarncrock's hurt.
How about in goal?
Hildeby's in. Yeah.
Just giving him one last chance.
Yeah, just, good to get him in for a game, and, we used him a lot down the stretch here, so good to get Hildeby in there before he goes back to the Marlies. And, he's played, 19 games this year for us and did a good job, so thought it'd be good to get him back up for one more.
What have you made of Joseph's performance down the
I think overworked, in my opinion. From not, playing a good stretch of games, but also faced a lot of rubber. Too much.
Do you think he's capable of handling more?
I do. I do believe he is. There's a few things he probably has to think about and change a little bit to handle that load, that type of load, you know. So it's a lot. If you look at the goalies in the league, there's only I don't know how many, a handful of guys that play, 50 or more games in a season.
You played Ottawa obviously a handful of times this year. What have you seen from that team, and especially as they enter the playoffs here?
They're a tough opponent. Great forechecking team. I think that's the strength of their team personally. It's hard to get the puck out of your zone. They pressure everywhere, and they secondary forechecks, and their D-corps mobile, obviously. Sanderson's a handful back there, but and they're deep down the middle of the ice.
Travis Green was just saying he felt like they got better as that playoff series went along last year. How much do you think that experience will help them?
Well, it helps for sure. The experience helps, and you learn from it, and what they could have did a little better, and different things like that. But the experience that they were in the playoffs last year, and they were a good opponent. It was a tough series, and that's going to help them going forward here.
Rick Bowness was pretty emotional last night after Columbus's last game, and talking about how you have to hate to lose, kind of not deal with losing. Everyone wants to win, of course. I'm wondering how important you found that, like that players and teams just have to hate to lose.
Well, they do, and it's for me, everybody hates to lose. They don't want to lose, but you have to really, I think more than anything, and I'm not in Bones' head or what he was thinking or whatever, but for me it's like losing has to hurt, and it's got to be vocalized in the room by your players. Like when you're losing and you're not winning, things have to be said in a not so nice manner, and when that happens in a locker room enough times, things are bound to change. You got to challenge each other, and it's he's not wrong.
Is that something that needs to improve around here?
I don't know. I'm not going to talk about all that. Like, I'm not getting into that stuff.
What's the day like for you, waking up knowing it's the last game of the season, last day of school?
Yeah, listen, I've thought about things a lot, over quite a bit of time now. So, it's like I said, we want to come in tonight and play a strong game, strong as we can, do our best out there. And for me, it's like, it's a disappointing season, definitely. And but again, that's for me to internalize and go through and things like that. I'm not going to express all my opinions to everybody. I'm going to keep that inside.
Can you express what it's meant to you to coach this team?
I love it. Like I said to you guys, I love Toronto. I love the Leafs. I think it's, everybody talks about pressure and all this stuff. I think it's great. I mean, for me, I'd rather have the pressure and of having to perform and win than not have it.
How have you personally dealt with the disappointment that's come this year?
Well, I mean, try to figure it out, try to get better, problem solving, all that stuff. It's just part of it all. Personally, how do I deal with it? I'm fine. I mean, it is, you go through adversity in life, and this is one of those times. So, for me, I've talked about it before. You gotta work through it, and that's what I do.
Thanks.
Thanks.